Can you hear me?
Yes, let.
Very good, thanks. Okay, let me share you my screen. Yeah, I think last time we come to module 5 in Introduction to International Trade, correct? Hello.
Yeah, sure.
Very good, thanks. Okay, so this is for our menus today. We are going to look at the introduction to international trade for the first sessions. And for the second sessions, I will send you some exercises for practices with the supply, demand, and equilibrium calculations. Okay, if that is for the practices, and at the end of the sessions, I will send you another homework for this course also. Okay, for the holidays. Okay. So that is our menu for today. So we start with the introductions to international trade. Okay. Yeah, and that is why the country trade. I think we discussed a lot already while we were doing the 10 principle of economics. Yes, and one of them we discussed a trade. We discussed the principle of trade can make everyone better off. So that is the explanation further in terms of the principle illustrated by Mankiw. Okay. So why country trades? I think you all might have your own answer already, and this one is just a little bit added or make it confirmed for you. Okay. So the first reason why country trade is that trade provide consumer with more choices or varieties. Like I discussed to you last times, if you don't open to trade, you might not be able to use computers, you might not be able to use telephones, okay? You might not be able to use the air cons, okay? With air conditioning, okay? Yeah. So the trade can provide the consumer with more choices in terms of the consumption, okay? Even those like some home appliances that you noticed, we not only have one brains, we have many brains for you to choose. For example, like refrigerators, you may choose LG's, which produced in South Korea, or you may use Panasonic, which originally produced in Japan, or you may choose the other brands that we have the trade with. Okay, I think this one very easy to understand. That is the concept, very general concept. Economy of scale is realized. I believe that I also discussed a little bit with you about the condition of economy of scales. The economy of scale, meaning to say that that it refers to the situations when the production increase and then the firm realize the lower every total cost. Okay, that is economy of scales is realized. And why that is exist? I think you also noticed that when you study about the social science, that is very general concept. When you study about social science, people might explain you that 1 + 1 equal to 3. Am I right? Have you ever heard that? Okay, am I too fast? Have you ever heard that 1 + 1 equal to 3? Okay, I don't know. In this sense, meaning to say that economy of scale, when you are trying to produce at a higher quantities of the products, you can realize the lower costs. Okay, every total cost will equal to the cost that you spend per unit. Okay, yeah. 1 + 1 equal to 3. That what I'm trying to tell you, that there is the the concept of the specializations. Yep, yep. We will move to that again when we go to the international trade theory in details. Okay. Yep. And another reason is that trade gives firm access to the large world market. Yes, when we open to trade, we have the a bigger market that we can access. That's why some of the country that prefers to have a trade with the big population country, for example, like America, China, or European Unions. You remember a lot few years, in a few years last, maybe around 5 years already, we have the Trend Pacific Partnerships Agreements that was introduced by the U.S. Barack Obama period. You know that, and then Cambodia is also one of the members. Cambodia is also one of the members of TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnerships. After that, Donald Trump is already how can we say in English? Can I just say withdraw? Yeah. The U.S. withdraw from this agreement, and then it's almost died, and then the China came into the let's say China jump into this situation and then organize another trade agreement that is called RCEP. RCEP means Regional Economic Comprehensive Partnerships, which also include China. China is the major country who played a role in that things, and also plus the ASEAN member states in that agreement. Okay. And there was also another regional group that I forgot the name. Let me think about it. It is not about the OPEX, no. It's not. Okay, that's all right, just yeah. So that is the trade can give firm access to the larger world, okay, world markets. And it's also another reasons that country to the trade is also foster more competition, which helps to keep prices down and quality up. You believe that? Hello? Hello?
Yes, let.
Okay, very good thing. And another reason is that trade is also foster more competition, which helps to keep prices down and quality up. That is the effect of the trade in terms of the productivity increased. I think very simple. When you open to trade and then you have more competitors, you yourself need to restructures, or need to keep updating your production changed in order to compete with your competitors. And also you need to have the price competitiveness also. If you sell at a higher price, you might not be able to sell your products in the market, and you also need to keep an eye on your quality too. Okay, so these are the major reasons that a country do the trade. Okay, that is the gain from trade. That is the reason, and then when we do that, when we do the trade, we get gain from trades. So these are the gain from trade. Sorry, someone just said to me. Give me a second. Oh, someone asking me each trade deficit is a good or bad thing. Oh, we have it's hardly to say good or bad thing for the trade deficit. Okay, that is called budget deficit. Normally we call it like this. Yeah, budget deficit or trade deficit. Budget deficit will refer to the budget, which is lower. The spend is higher than the revenue that you earn, and then you have the budget deficit. If that is the trade deficit, meaning to say that your exports is lower than your imports. And normally, you may look at it this way. You may look at to the concept of the capital flow out. Okay. when you have the trade deficit, you have the capital flow out, okay? Meaning to say that your capital stock in your country become lower, okay? And then you also gain some more variety out here. You also gain with this. There's also a positive side. Pros also are pro and con, okay? When you import a lot of products, you can gain the varieties or too much choices for your consumer. You also have the competitions increased in your country, okay? However, there's also some drawback in term of trade deficit. Your capital flow are already, meaning to say that you are going it's a little bit harder for you to find the resources to boost your growth. Okay. Yep. To me, it is depend on the country condition, but in overall, trade deficit, it's not a good idea for the government. Okay, they need to balance this. So an overall trade deficit might provide negative side than the positive side. Okay. Yep. Is that all right? Hello.
Hello, sir.
Very good things. Like I discussed to you, if you would like to understand the effect, you would like to compare or you want to understand the effect of trade deficits, you may look at the effect of capital flowing out of the country. Okay, what might be the impacts when the capital flowing out of the country? That is the negative impact. When you discuss about the positive impact of the trade deficit, meaning to say that in your country there's a lot of imported products from outside world. Okay, I mean from the rest of the world. So there might be also improve your competitions, and there sometimes might also kill your infant industry. We will discuss this also. Okay, don't worry about that. This is the gain from trade, like I discussed to you, that they are gain from trade is probably the most important insight in the international economics. We would want to understand again from trade. We are going to look at that too. And country are selling goods and services to each others almost always generate mutual benefits. Okay, meaning to say that mutual benefits. You also gain, I also gain in a way that you understand me, I also understand you. Okay. So that is one you can look at when a buyer and seller engage in the voluntary transactions. Both can be met better out. Yes, both of them will be better out. And that is how could a country that is most or least efficient producer of everything get from trade, how because the country can specialize in productions while consuming many goods and services through trade. It is sentenced consuming when the consumer have many goods and services choice, or there's many product available at the market for the consumer. Adam Smith said that it will be increase the living standard. Okay. Yep. You know what I'm saying. The first scenario is that when you do the trade, you're gonna specialize in some particular productions in your countries. At the same time, you also enjoy the varieties of many goods and services available in your economy. And after that, you also realize this increase in standard of living. That's why we consider this is the gain from trade. So at the end of the day, your living standard also increase because Adam Smith measured through the varieties of the standard living could be resulted from the increasing the numbers of goods and services that you can use. Okay, so that is the case. Okay, yeah, and again from trade number three. Number one is that can be made better out when they do it voluntary transactions, and then this one is you also gain from specializations, and then trades benefit country by allowing them to export goods made with relatively abundant resources and import goods made with the relatively scarce resources. Ideally, yes. If you asked, I think you also can look at in the daily perspective too. For example, if you look at to how can I say that? If you look at to for example, and if you look at to the previous variant, okay, just look at one, just look at within a country, not go beyond the country to country. We look at the within country. We have Sihanoukville province, we have Swarian province, okay? When you look at to this, suppose that everything constant, okay? Yeah. In Sihanoukville, there is a rich in terms of the seafood. Yeah. There is a, sorry. There is a rich in seafood in the Sihanoukville, so people living there really enjoy the seafood, okay? While the Swarian cannot, it's hardly for them to produce seafood. Yeah, that's why the resources that you have very little, just your scarce resources, you don't want to consume that. So you need to do the trivia others. I think the other example is also very easy to understand. Like I discussed with you last time, you look at the Cambodia context, and then we compare, we do the trade with the US and South Korea, for example. Don't you think that Cambodia can produce telephones or laptops? I talked to you last time. Yes, of course, Cambodia could be able to produce laptop and also telephones. But uh, the major concern is that Cambodia need to spend a lot of resources in order to produce laptops and also the same in order to produce telephones. So ideally, we don't have the resources. We don't have much resources into producing laptops and telephones. That's why we need to produce something that we have abundant resources. We have a lot of land. If it refers to laptop and the telephone, this product we call it the capital incentive products. Capital incentive products. We are refer to the products. We are refer to the products that need more capital in order to produce it. Okay. However, in Cambodia, we have a lot of lands and labor are fit with the agricultural products. That's why the government pushed for the agricultural product and then export those products to the world, to South Korea and to US in order to import back with a telephone and computer. Sound good enough? Okay, and another reason is that the gain from trade is that when a country specializes, they may be more efficient due to the larger scale of production. See that? So these are the four reasons that you can explain in terms of the gain from trade. Okay, here. Country selling goods and services to its almost always generate mutual benefits. So these are the benefits that you received. So far, so good. Hello.
Yes, like
Okay, very good. Thanks. I don't know whether you feel Day already or not. Yes. Okay. Okay. No worry. Yeah, tomorrow is gonna be your holiday, right? You're gonna have the 3-day holiday, so please take a good rest. Yep. Yes. Also, we can discuss with this a little bit further. Trade is protected to benefit country as a whole, but trade may harm particular group within a country. You believe that? Yeah, that's really true. International trade can harm the owner of the resources that are used relatively intensively in industry that compete with the import. International trade can harm the owner of the resources that are used relatively intensively in industry that compete with the import products. Okay. And also trade may therefore affect the distribution of income within a country. This one very big questions here. Distribution of income. You familiar with this term? Distribution of income, meaning to say that the country at the macroeconomic levels, they need to distribute the income into across into a different particular group of people in their country. Okay. For example, if you look at the production function, normally we use the let me open the bracket a little bit. The production function, normally people believe in the Kubler-Ross production functions here. A here is the factors of productivity, and K is the capital. The alpha is the share of capital with the resources that available in the economy. L is another resources, 1 minus L. Okay, that is the Kubler-Ross production functions. And what I'm trying to tell you here, the K here, the capital here, we get the income through the rate of capital, correct? And the labor here, we get the income through the wage that provide in the country. So we need to look at this and also this, okay? The amount of capital and the amount of labor in the countries, okay? And then the share of that too. So distribution income, we need to balance this when we have a benefit from trade. How can we distribute the income to particular to a particular productions? Oh, sorry, to a particular group living in the society. Okay. For example, you can look at this. For example, if I import, there are several. Okay, let me give you a real example here. I think some of you also goes to Saddam Coal Market, I believe that's. And then what I'm trying to tell you is that there are several agricultural commodity at the Saddam Coal Market are imported from Vietnam. You know that, right? Like a radish, like carrots, or like green peppers, like what else? Tomatoes, like there are several kinds, there are several more kind of commodity, agricultural commodity that Saddam Corps dealer imported from the import from the Vietnam. And then what happened? What happened in that sense? Meaning to say that the agriculture, the farmer who produced radish, the farmer who produced carrots, might not be able to compete with the imported products because the price is lower. And then normally at our country, in our country context, we are still in overall we are still not it's not affordable for the organic product because it's quite expensive for some particular country, for some particular household. So it's gonna impact to the farmer who are who grows radish, who grows the carrot, right? And then what is the gain from trade that the people receive? Meaning to say the dealer who are the one who import the radish, sell to the market, and then they gain higher benefits. And then yeah, and at the end of the day, the income distribution might not be equal. Yeah, does it make sense to you all with this? Hello. Yeah, sometimes it's I think
Yeah.
I can give you another example here. If you look at to the Japan and Cambodia, I don't know whether I used to discuss this with you. If you look at to the Cambodia and Japan, Cambodia, I believe that can grow some agricultural commodity better than Japan. Meaning to say that Japan will spend more in order to produce some agricultural commodity, for example, like rice. Okay. Yeah, but the Japanese government say no. I don't want to do the trade with Cambodia in terms of rice. Because of what? Because when the Japan's government allowed to do the trade with Cambodia, and then the rice come from Cambodia to Japan, for example, like Malise rice or like fragrant rice. I mean, like that, Malise or yeah, from dual rice to Japan, and then the rice industry in Japan gonna be worse. The farmer who grow rice in Cambodia in Japan will be harmful, right? And then what happened? And at the end of the day, the farmer in Japan will move to the industry sector because they cannot compete with the imported product from Cambodia. Just means Rumdu rice is quite better in terms of quality and also the taste and also the price. So the Japanese farmer will be in trouble. And then the tendency to move to the industry sector possible is also high. And then they will be suffer from that, right? That's why they put some trade barrier between Cambodia and Japan and Cambodia rice sectors descent. So some particular group, what I'm trying to tell you here, if they decide to do the trades, they might also harmful to the particular group, like the farmer, the Japanese farmer. Okay. But if you calculate in general, or you calculate as a whole country, of course, the benefit always are higher, of course, in terms of gain from trade. If that is the free trade, okay, yeah. And it's a pattern of trade. Any question before I move on to the next concept? We have been through together with the reason why the country do the trade, and we also have been through together with the concept of gains from trade. Okay, and also we also discuss a little bit further in terms of the side effects of the gain from trade. There might not be all the people will be having everything equal. Okay, yeah. So far so good. Mm. Okay. No reactions mean not everything okay. So that is the pattern of trade, okay? So the differences in climate and resources will explain why Brazil export coffee and Saudi Arabia export whilst this is also a very interesting thing that we can look at. So, but sometimes it's so you know what? I just open a brain kit and telling you the story a little bit about this. But sometimes this one, if how can I say this? Some particular country was really too religious. Yet they also think about the climate and resources are there. Resources available in their country are the curse from their God. It's very strange to me. Let me give you for one real example in this sense why that is like this. Of course, the difference in climates and also the difference in resources explain the different perceptions. Do you think Saudi Arabia can export coffee? I don't think so because their country is in the how can I call that country? Can I call the sandy country? Yeah, that's many sun, right? Very hot, so the product is not good for the agricultural product. Some agricultural product might not fit with the Saudi Arabia. The climate resources is not good for them to grow those kind of things. But Saudi Arabia, they also have a very good sense in terms of the oil. Yeah, because they're close to the sea, and then they can extract the oil from the sea, and then they export those. That is the climate and resources concept. It's also one of the determinants to determines what kind of product that you should produce also. What I just discussed to you, what I want to open the bracket for you is the Democratic Republic of Congo. The resources and climate is very good for them. Because in that country, Democratic Republic of Congo, in Africa. Do you know what kind of valuable resources in that country? Okay.
I think it's natural resource such as mine.
Not exactly. DRC don't have too much natural resources, but DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, has a very big lake. Yeah, very big lake. I would say that. But the interesting thing is here, it rich in terms of the diamond resources. Yeah, many raw diamonds. I mean the raw diamonds. Okay, not the polished diamonds. The raw diamonds come from the RC. Many European firms are established in DRC, and then they extract the diamond resources, and then they bring those kind of resources to their country. To their country, I mean to European country, especially for Belgium, which is the famous country in terms of diamonds. But if you look at to the resources in bathrooms, there's no diamond resources. Okay, they just exported from they just imported from the DRC. Yes, DRC should be a country who exports the diamond, right? Because they have a rich resources in diamonds. That's why we discuss about this. Some people in the DRC, they consider this one as the curse from their gods. Most of them, they are the Christians. Yeah. And then what they say is that, okay, we have the resources, but we cannot consume anything in that resources. We just export to the European country. Yep. If you read the news, I believe that you will realize Belgium is the very famous country in terms of producing diamonds and also the chocolate. Diamond is it's actually yes, there are many firms. There are many firms in Belgium, but maybe they are not Belgian firms. They might be some of the European firm also established in Belgium, maybe French firm, maybe Germany firms. Yeah, but mostly it comes from Belgium, meaning to say that Belgium is the one is the center to export the very high price diamond across the world. See that? But that's also another story that we need to look at, okay? But what I'm trying to tell you here, the different pattern in terms of climate and resources will also be able to determine what kind of product that you should produce, okay? If you look at this in a little bit far away from our discussion, but if you look at to the geographical economics, I would call it that way, yes, geographical economics, you will see this concept too. Meaning to say that they're also very concerned about the climate, we also are very concerned about the resources. For example, some of the empirical study already proved that if you are staying, if your country in the how can I say this, isolated country or the landlocked country, yes, this would be called landlocked country. Your growth rate might be lower than the country who are rich in the resources and stay in the tropical area or close to the sea. Mm. There also one determinant for growth. Okay, yeah, you believe that? Yeah, geographical concept also played a role here. Okay, that is a very beginning. We will discuss further. And a country export a certain product utilizely to the different in. See that? We export a product because we realized the differences in one, labor productivities, two, relative supply of capital, labor, and land. That are called factors of production. Okay, capital, labor, and land. The three resources called the factors of production, or sometimes they also use the word resources as the interchangeable terms. and they're used in production of different goods and services. Okay, so one, because there are differences in labor productivity. The second one, because the relative supply of capital, labor, and land. These are the criteria to determine your pattern of trade. Okay. Yep. And then this one is the effect of the government policy on trade. These are the theory. Okay, first we need to understand first why you do that. The second, people discuss about the benefit of doing so, and then people will tell you, okay, how it looked like, okay, how it looked like, and how the country make their decisions in terms of producing things. That is, will be developed in the international trade theory, and then we also look at the effect of the government intervention in this such kind of things. So the policymaker affect the amount of trade through. These are called the trade barrier. Okay, yep, tariff, quota, export subsidy, and through other regulations. Okay, the government can also play a role here. I think you already realized. Since we learned the 10 principle in economic. One principle saying that trade can make everyone better off, and after that, there's also a principle saying that the market are usually a good way to organize economic activities. And there's also another principle stating that sometimes government can improve the economic outcome, right? So these are the things that the government policy can improve the economic outcomes. That is the externality concept. The government do the intervention because of the market failure, and we already learned that the market failure in the principle or the market principle are because of market power and also the externalities. Look at this. See that here? This sentence: trade is productive, be benefit country as a whole, but trade may harm particular group within the country. Here, see that? So in order, sometimes we need to play the role here. Government play the role here. So the government may impose the tariff. The government may impose the quota. The government may impose the export. May introduce the export subsidy policy, or the government can impose the other regulations. And here at the end, here they are the meaning. The tariff will refer to the tax on import or export products. Okay. Don't confuse just only import law. Export also has a tariff. Import or export, that is a tariff. And quota, that is a quality restrictions on import or export. And also export subsidy. This one is the money come from the government to the exportation sectors. Payment to producer that export, see that? Or through other regulation, example, product specifications, the product origins, the standard of the products that exclude foreign product from the market, but still allow domestic products. See that? So there might be also the other regulations to be imposed in order to restrict the trade. So far, so good. Hello.
Chair.
Okay. So what are the costs and benefit of this policy? We will look at this, okay?
Hello, Chair.
Yeah, yes.
About the policy. For example,
Sorry,
like,
can you come again, please? I cannot hear you well.
can you hear me?
It's not so much well. Can you?
Yes.
Okay, better than moment. Yeah.
For this policy, for example, a government impose the policy, but at the same time, for example, a government in an international agreement that, for example, like they prohibit all of these, like impose quota, something like that. So in that case, that the international agreement superseded national government policy on imposing trade like that.
There are different concepts here. Okay, Davin. You need to. Okay. The first. If you look at this, concept. If you join some of the agreements, you need to follow the article. Okay, you cannot do anything else besides adapting your regulations to the article that all the members agree. For example, we are the members of the RCEP, like I discussed to you earlier, a Regional Economic Comprehensive Partnership Agreement, and we also the members of the Asian Economics Communities. So we need to follow that, and we also the members of the OPEC, as I remember correctly. Yes, so we also need to follow that article. We also the members of the WTO, World Trade Organizations. So we cannot do anything besides adopting the regulation that they already imposed in the international level here. Okay. However, if that is the trade that you are not in the you are alone, that is the bilateral trade. Okay, bilateral agreements. It's not you play a role as the independent country. You are not playing the role as the members of the regions. Okay, group of the country in the regions. So that would be possible for you if that is the bilateral trade. Okay, yeah, that's what I can say. Am I answering to your question, Davin?
So in a bilateral trade.
So yes, the bilateral trade. Sometimes we can have some imposed some barrier, I would say by that way. But if you join some particular some particular group already, international group already, you have to follow that article, follow that regulation. Otherwise you will be violate the regulation, and then people will say, no, you are not in my group anymore, so it's get out of my group, right? Right. That's very simple by that way. But if you play a role as you yourself, as an independent country, you want to have a trade with the US, you want to have a trade with the European Union or with France or with UK, so you may negotiate bilaterally, and then if you feel like there's no thing benefit to your country, you may impose some barrier. However, don't forget that is the reciprocal concept too. Reciprocal concept meaning to say that if you impose something to them, they are not just stand still and do nothing with you, right? And there will be the compensation for your action too. So if you impose something and then they do the analysis and then they also impose something to your country too, okay? I think it's already clear if you look at the trade war between China and US in the last several years ago. China and US very big trade war happened, right? I think you also noticed. Because Donald Trump realized that if the Donald Trump look at the statistic, Donald Trump realized that China benefit more if they are doing trade together, while some of the Americans people might be suffering some of the in terms of the doing the trade with China. So, okay, so in order to prevent some of the small group who are suffer from the American-China trade, Donald Trump decided to impose some of the regulations or some of the trade barrier to the Chinese company. I think you also know this. And then you also notice that China's not just stand still. China's also impose some of the trade barrier for the U.S. too. So at the end of the day, both countries hardly to find the compromised concept in terms of joining back to the trade agreement. See that? These are the imposing of the international barrier or the trade barriers. Okay, from one side to another side. So don't play with that. I think I cannot say don't play with that. It is ideally should be cost and benefit analysis very carefully, otherwise we are staying in the trouble for your country. You see that, David? Is that much better?
Yes, sure.
Okay. For the production functions that I discussed to you earlier, that's called the Gold-Douglas production function. Gold-Douglas production function. This is the name of two people combined together, and then they introduce these functions to the world. Gold-Douglas production function, because we realized that the income of the people, the income of one country equals to the output that they can produce. Okay, that is what the macroeconomic tell you. I don't know whether you remember that. It can be the income, or it can be the value of the output that you produce, or it can be the expenditures of that economy spent. So the earlier the Y, that is the productions, and then we have the capital and labor. They are as the input in order to produce the products. So what I'm trying to tell you is that these production function here can be used to determine or to analyze or to modeling the income distributions. Okay, the income distributions. You know what I'm saying? Income distribution law. Because you look at the U.S., I believe that in the past 50 years ago, the U.S., the majority of the resources in the U.S. Was dominated by the labor. So the national income has waged through the labor more than 60%, while the people who own the capital just only 40% in the economy. Okay, but nowadays maybe it already shifted many capitalists in the US, so they say out the capital in terms of the input for productions might be higher to labor. So that's why the government can manage through those kind of things. Okay, but it's another story about the income distribution. Okay, in here we just give you some insight. No, some open. They just open the idea of thinking that there's also some problem because of the international trade. Okay, not only international trade, not always the good ways for the people. Sometimes also have a drawback that we need to look at. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. Anything else? Okay. So, what are the cost and benefit of this policy? So, put it in very general terms. You discuss about the trade barrier. There are two trade barrier. The first one we call tariff barrier, and another one we call non-tariff barrier. Non-tariff barrier, we combine this together: quota, export subsidy, and other regulation. Okay. Yep. So, if a government restricts trade, what are the costs if the foreign government respond likewise? See that what I discussed to you about reciprocal concept. So trade policy are often chosen to cater to special interest group. See that, rather than to maximize the national welfare. If you look at trade policy, normally it would aims to cater the benefit for special group only, rather than to maximize the national welfare. And also the government tend to adopt the tariff, then negotiate them down in exchange for reduction in trade barrier of other country. Okay, meaning government tend to adopt tariff. Okay, I think that should be all for the introduction. So let me summary for you a little bit. This is the whole course. Okay, like I discussed to you, the first one we will tell you the reason why we need to look at that. The second one we will look at to the benefit of doing so, and the third one we are going to tell you how it's going to look like. Okay, how it's going to be worked. based on the theory, and after that we put the government's policy into our equation for further analysis. Okay, so that's it. So far so good. Any questions? I believe that I already dropped this all the slide to you already, right? Hello.
Yes, sir, you are correct.
That's what you have.
Okay, very good then. I believe I dropped already. So after this, we also have another one. Oh, maybe I can introduce you the homework a little bit, and then for the second session, I will give you 4 exercises for you to practice. I think you already learned this in a microeconomic or macroeconomic, I believe, but just for your remind, yes, for your remind review only, I would say by that way. Okay, so give me a second. I share you my homework for you. Can you see my screens? Hello.
Yes, like
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Yeah,
Thanks.
teacher.
Very good. Thanks. Yeah, we already learned the price control in our review modules, and then what I was used to do, I wish you to look at the price control in US. Okay, that is the one case study for you, and that's the objective of this homework for you. It just designed to enhance and comprehend your understanding of price control concept presented in the class lectures. Okay, and that is the scenario that I provide to you. Organization of Petroleum Exporting Country, that is OPEC, is a group of countries who are mainly the oil exporter player across the world. The volume of oil exportation from such organization is big enough to influence the world supply of oil, resulting in the international oil price. I already discussed this for you, but just want you to look at to write it for me. Okay, that is the price control in some of the gasoline. Yep, a gasoline market. Historically, the organization or the petroleum exporting country OPEC has raised up the price of crude oil. Remember, for several times in 1973, as example, also a few decades ago. So during the period of this one, 1973, are rising up the price of crude oil. Crude oil here is the input, okay, to produce the gasoline. Some country has designed policy to mitigate impact of such costs. Those countries also include US. Okay, so that is what I require you to do. So based on what you have learned in the class about the price control, write down a paragraph only, okay, or possibly extend to an essay if you feel it's not enough for you for your illustrations, to discuss how the U.S. government imposed the price control during 1973 in the case of raising of the crude oil price from OPEC, and the impact of the U.S. price control policy to the U.S. society. So there are two scenarios. So there are two requirements from my side for you to look at. The first one, I want you to look at how the government imposed the price control, how. And the second, you may write about the impact of the EU price control to the US society. Okay, that is the due date and the mean of submissions. Your work shall be sent versus the Microsoft Teams. I will assign you in the Microsoft team by 11th of October 2021, okay, at 5 p.m. Is that clear for the homework? I'll give you 1 week for test. I believe that you just enjoy your option holiday. Okay, you may spend just only 2 to 3 hours, and then I believe you can complete this task already. Okay, just to remind you a little bit about the price control. Any concern
Teacher,
about it?
so
Yeah.
regarding the answer, you require to write only the text, right? Can we like include some graph or something too?
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. You can include some graph too. Yeah. You can include some graph too. Like here, okay? I asked you, okay, give me a second. I asked you to write the paragraph or possibly extend to an essay if you wished, okay? I don't mind with that. Sorry, let me check with each other already. Oh, how many words?
Okay, sure.
Actually, for the paragraphs, normally around 250 to 300, right? Or let's say maximum for paragraph, 1 page maximum. Yeah. And for essay, I don't have the word limitation for you here, okay? When you feel that is enough, that's it, okay? Maybe essay maybe around 2 to 3 pages. That should be enough to you. But it's a little bit long already for 2 to 3 pages. Just 2 pages, if you prefer to write an essay, that would be good already. Because you need to address only 2 things, okay? First, how the U.S. government impose that, okay? And second, the impact of the that imposement to the U.S. society, okay? Yep. Okay. So far so good. Hello.
Yeah, teacher, I'm fine.
Okay, very good, thanks. How about the other Kim Sul? Everything all right? Kim Hu, not Kim Sul.
Everything is fine, lecture.
Okay, very good, thanks. So seems everything is fine and everybody is also fine. So we may have a little bit, we may end our first session a little bit early, I believe, okay? And then for the second sessions, I will drop you the exercise for you to practice. And then, if you finish it, I think you can have a break because some of you might also want to enjoy your holidays too. I don't put you much pressure on that. But somebody asking something. Give me a second. This homework fall in the, okay, yes, of course. Richard, don't worry, I will drop it. I will assign you in the Microsoft team with the attachment, okay? So you just download the from the Microsoft team and then you may be uploaded to do it, okay? Yeah. So okay, or yeah. Or maybe I put it this way, I will show you my exercise too, and then you may spend your own time doing the exercises and then send it to me too. And then I don't think that I will host you another meeting, but maybe we don't discuss on the exercises. If you still have any question, you just drop me the question and then I will respond to you. But if you don't, you just try to complete the exercises revisions for me, and then you drop it into the Microsoft team too. And then you can leave the Microsoft team, and then you can enjoy the rest of your day. Is that sound good enough for you?
Yes.
Okay, very good then. So I showed you a little bit about exercises, and then I will send you in the Microsoft Teams shortly. And then for 7:30, I will host another meeting, and then there will be no discussion on the second session. But if you have any concern about the exercises, just let me know. And then if you finish your exercises early, you also can leave and enjoy the rest of your day, and also prepare your Pumband holiday. There might be something for you to do too, I guess. Okay, so let me show you my exercises first. Wait a second. Wait a second. Oh, sorry. Let me share you my screens first. Can you see my screens?
Yes, like.
Very good, thanks. Okay, like I discussed to you earlier, I just wanted to give you some revision in terms of the demand, supply, and equilibrium exercises, because there might be some more calculation also for you when we are doing the international trade theory. Okay, so just go this first. I have 4 exercises for you to do for the second session. Okay. The first one here, I suppose that we have the market demand and market supply curve as these equations. This is a market demand equation, and this is the market supply equation, okay? And that is my problem for you to address. So the equilibrium price and quantity, and then I also ask you to graph your result, and then I also ask you to state in the area of representing consumer surplus and producer surplus, okay? And for number 2, suppose that we have the government official fee that too much milk is being consumed at the market equilibrium, leading to concern about the health and safety of the populace. Okay, so in this part, the government imported excise tax of $2 on the producers of milk. Okay, and then I ask you to calculate the new equilibrium price and quantity, and also ask you to plot the new equilibrium on your graph and label consumer and producer surplus, and also the tax revenue. And then also ask you what's the tax effective in the reducing the quantity of milk consumed, and what is the incidence of the tax on the consumer and producer. Okay, yep, I think this one. I'm not saying, okay. And then consider, that is number 2. And number 3, I also ask you to consider the market for the potatoes with the inverse demand by this equation and the inverse supply curve by this equation too. So now support the government implement a price subsidy program instead of the price support program. So let the government target by 24, and then also to calculate equilibrium price quantity again, and then draw the graph again. Okay, and then label again. And then the second is that the government is concerned about potato farmer abilities to earn adequate income for farming potato and decide to implement a price support policy whereby the price floor, you already learned this, 24, will be set in the market for potato, and the government will produce the purchase and destroy the surplus potato at the price $24. Okay, I ask you to calculate this again. And then also graph you again. DWL, the direct loss. I already discussed with you some direct loss. Yeah. And let us see, the government is concerned about a high cost of price support policy described in part 2, and is considering doing away with that policy and implementing a unit subsidy paid to the farmer, and then that we included that the farmer received a price after the subsidy of the $24 for the potatoes, and then how large the subsidy needs to be. And under this, you need to calculate this. Okay, so you also need to graph it and using too, and also set the area of consumer producer product for the same. Maybe I can add this one number 2 for you. Yep. And then this one is number 3. Yep. And lastly, there is the last exercise. We have the demand for beer in Japan given by these equations. Okay, where we know that R and P is the price of B and PN is the this one should be 0.1 R, okay? Yep, this one lah. Yep, should be no. Sorry. Why it is like this? Yes. Oh, maybe it is in the here. You're I'm right. It is in the equations. So okay, then this was the I left. So where P is the price of B and PN is the price of NOT and R is the average consumer income. And then this is what I'm discussing, what I'm asking you to do. What happened to the demand of beer when the price not go up and the beer not substitute the demand complement, and what happened to the demand for beer when the average in consumer income rises. And lastly, just grabbed it when the PN price of NOT equal to 100 and the average income equal to 10,000. Okay, so that is my exercises for you. Okay, the practice number 1 also. Okay, so far so good. I'm not sure whether it is clear for my instructions to you all.
Yeah, we think we have to do 4 exercises in 1 hour.
I'm sorry, David, I cannot hear you well. Can you come again?
These 4 exercises we have to do in 1 hour.
The other people, can you hear David well? Kim Ho?
I cannot hear lecture.
Yeah. David, can you?
I mean, these 4 exercises we have to do in the next session only, right?
Yeah. For the second session, I will send you this exercise and then just try to practice it, okay? If you have any concern, just let me know, okay? Like I discussed to you earlier, I will set up another meeting from 7:30 as normal. And then if you have any question, just let me know, and then I will answer or I will respond to your question in terms of that 4 exercises. Is that clear? And then at the end of the session, at the end of the second session, you also need to send me your result too, okay, as normal. I know it's a little bit hard for you. If you find it hard in terms of doing in the Microsoft Word, you also can write it in the paper, and then you can also take a photo by using the cam scanner as the PDF file, and then you also can drop it into the Microsoft Team, okay? Because there are some exercises you need to grab it. Yep, and then I don't know whether it take more time for you to do in the Microsoft Word. If you're familiar with it, is all right. But if you don't familiar, it's gonna be all right. If you can just write it on the blank piece of paper, and then just do the cam scanner app, and then save it into the PDF file, and then send me your result. Okay. Is that clear? Tidak.
Yes, it's clear that.
Oh yes, yeah. I don't know whether it's your class. Dali, right? Dali asked me to remove some of the learner that not in your group. Let me check a little bit. I forgot already. Yeah. The class monitor name is Dalia, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No, those there are 2 people that are not in our class.
Yeah.
Na Chong Peng, and the other one is Tôi Sup Hẹn Na.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Thank you again, Dalia. I forgot that. Okay. I will do it after this. Okay. Yes, I will do it after this.
By the way, like in case that someone need to submit a leave form, can we create another subfolder in our Microsoft Teams so that they can submit a leave form to you?
Another folder. You
Yes.
mean Microsoft Teams? Okay.
Yes.
Let me check a little bit first.
Okay, like
Yep. Hello. Let me see. How can I just create another folder for you? I'm just looking at this. To be honest with you, I'm just using Microsoft Teams for a couple of months, so not so much familiar with using this. But for about the Google Classroom, it's much more better for me. But let me check. Dalia, where you want me to create the new folders for the leaf forms?
I think you can import it in general, or I think I can do that for you, like.
Okay, okay, very good then. Okay, so if you can do it, please do it for me, okay? Yep. Okay. So we will wait for you, okay, Dalia, for creating the new folder for leaf form, okay?
Okay, like.
Okay, thank you so much for your kindness. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, anything else? Okay, there's seems nothing else. So yeah, I think we can finish our class a little bit early. We can finish before 7 minutes, and then I don't know. Maybe I can say okay. Right now, maybe you can enjoy your again Shumban holiday, very long holiday, 3-day holiday, and then don't forget to be careful. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, so I may end our meeting right now, and then I will send you the assignment immediately. Okay. Yep. Thank you for your cooperation.